A question came through from Jennifer that I know other people are dealing with also. It is, how do you create a follow-up workflow in Dubsado when it comes to encouraging somebody to book a inquiry call, discovery call, clarity call, whatever it is that you call it? How do you automatically follow up? And then how do you stop following up once they've scheduled the call? So Jennifer, this one is for you and honestly for everybody else watching, because this is something that I see happening all the time inside of people's Dubsado. I'm Lauren. I'm a certified Dubsado specialist and owner of The Smarter Creative. Let's talk about this workflow. All right, so what happens is somebody fills out your inquiry form on your website, your contact form, and then that is a Dubsado form. It creates the project in Dubsado, and your workflow sends them the link to book. Great. Most of us have that piece down. But the issue is the Dubsado doesn't have a feature of like 3 days after the call is not booked, resend them the call link. That's not an option. That is an option with forms, but it's not an option with schedulers, unfortunately. So what we have to do is create a follow-up that goes out based on whatever timeline you want, and then it has to pause and stop whenever they book that call. So I'm going to show you and build it out in Dubsado 3.0, the way I encourage most people to do it. But the key is really to making sure it stops once they book a call. If you want it to completely be automated, it has to stop. Otherwise, you are going to be like, hey, do you want to chat? And like, I already scheduled a call with you. What are you talking about? So we do not want that happening. All right, so how to build it out inside of your Dubsado. Let's go. Okay, so we are inside of Dubsado 3.0. Let's go in, and I'm under flows here on the side, and then we're going to come down to flow templates, and then we are going to hit this little plus button to add a new flow template. So let's go ahead and name it. We're going to call it inquiry booked. Inquiry received. Amazing. Okay. So the first action that we're going to do is send a scheduler. So the exact scheduler I'm going to do is the clarity call here. And then I'm going to, send an email. So it gives me my base email here. So I'm going to say, hey, first name, which is a smart field. I'm going to use some of my shortcuts, but those smart fields are here. Client first name. I just want to make sure it goes out to just their first name. I would never send somebody their whole name. Like, I would never say, hey, Lauren Barr, would you like to book a call with me? No. Change the subject line. Thank you for your inquiry. Let's chat. Great. All right. Perfect. And then I've got my brand signature, which has my name on it. I would probably plug in more information here, probably send over my pricing guide that I have either as a PDF or a Canva doc, and have much more information than what is in this canned email that I just had, but it is okay. Then I'm going to create that step. Perfect. Then we're going to do some delays on our next action items. So I personally like to have an email go out next. So I like it to be follow-up inquiry with, and then you can plug in your brand name. Hi, we'll grab their first name. Hi, first name. I wanted to see if you got the link to chat I sent over the other day. Love to still hear more about you and your business. Let me know when a good time to would be. Oh my god, I want business signature. Perfect. Okay. Then I would do this maybe like 2 days after all previous actions are completed, and we'll create that. So the call goes out, the follow-up goes out, and then I usually like to send another call link at this point. But the issue is I like this call link to be different than the first one I sent out, and I will show you why here in a second. So I'm going to pull another clarity call. I'm just going to pull this one. and we'll say, still want to chat about your brand. I'll pull their first name. If you are still considering a new website for your business, I'd love to hear more about what you are looking for. Go ahead and use this link to find a time that works. Thanks. Gosh. Perfect. Okay. This one, maybe I would send out a week after the last action was completed, created. So now it goes out day 0, 2 days later, 7 days later. And I want to then probably change the project status to call booked as soon as a appointment is scheduled. So after the appointment is booked, and then this is where it's so helpful to have the different options, because I know it's the first one and the second one in order, but they are named the exact same. I've just seen it where it doesn't pick the right one and it doesn't do what you want it to do. So my workaround is to just have 2 separately named schedulers in here. So I'm going to look for the video one, create, and then I'm going to do that a second time. I'm going to update project status to call booked as soon as the appointment is booked. But this time I'm going to look for the other one, create. So now I have the exact same action item, but they're looking for 2 separate schedulers. And then I'm going to pause this flow once the appointment is booked in the exact same way. So I'm going to look for the video one, and then I'm going to pause the flow once the appointment is booked and look for the other one, create. So now it's going to send those follow-ups, but it will stop as soon as one of those calls is booked. One other thing that you could do other than pausing would be to change these to requiring manual approval here to complete this action. That's actually how I have mine built out, because my wording when I send the clarity call, I personally don't require us to chat. I'm happy to send booking information for anything. If we get in an email conversation, I don't force somebody to talk to me unless they want to. I actually have these set for approval just in case we ended up having a conversation in email. I don't want to automatically encourage them to book a call with me, because that's not necessarily my next step. So you could require approval, but I would still pause it once the call's booked, so it doesn't bump me to follow up with them if they've already booked the call. So yeah, I'd still have it pause, but change the project status. So this is how to do it. And then you always want to test out workflows. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a quick new form template. And in these settings, my default flow is going to be the inquiry received. And I'm going to change the project status to a new inquiry here. And then I can pull in the client name there. Okay, so I'm going to save that. And then I like to test my workflows start to finish using the actual form, if it's a form that kicks it off, because I want to make sure that this works as it should from the starting point. And then this is just whatever was on that form template. Okay, submit. Thank you. We'll be in touch. Amazing. If I come back, perfect. So this then kicked off the inquiry received flow. I can see the first one went out right now. The second one is due to go out in 2 days. If I come to messages and I go to sent, I will see the email that went out here, and everything is good to go. So if I were to then, it should be under events in the sent, or here, I'll just do it from my messages. Schedule an appointment. I linked the wrong one. Let's see. Let me force all these actions through. Some of my clarity calls have a form attached to them because they're used with my lead capture form. So let me just see if this one does. Nope, perfect. Okay, let's chat. So here, if I pick a time, submit and finish, because I don't want to fill out another form. Perfect. And then I got the confirmed, because that's based on my clarity call. And my flow paused, and my project status changed to call booked as soon as they booked that call. So if I go into my project information, they're now in the clarity call booked stage, and this flow is paused. There's no next action. Nothing would happen. So I'd have to manually start like my send proposal flow after the call. That is how everything comes through and how I would follow up, but also stop following up when they booked that call. Well, congratulations on building it out. The biggest thing to now know is once you get off the call that you just had with the person, you have to manually go to their project to start the next thing. Because what is not able to happen, which it's our workaround, we have to do this as a workaround. It's okay. Maybe they'll one day give us this feature, but it's just not there yet. So in the workaround, we don't have the option to start the send proposal workflow after the call has finished from the call booked workflow because we paused that workflow. As soon as they book a call on the inquiry flow, that workflow is paused. It can no longer have an action item that would be based on the call ending. Like that workflow is done. It will not see it. It will not notice that it's done. Something that you could possibly do is once the call is booked, you start like another second workflow of like, hey, the call got booked. We need to send the proposal. I don't love that because it's going to sit on their project. It's going to create an invoice. It's going to have a contract on their project, everything. And you haven't even talked to them yet. So you're going to have an open invoice inside of your Dubsado for who knows how long until you talk to them and then you decide to send it. And it dates the invoice for the date that they booked the call instead of the date when you actually want to send it to them. And I don't like that workaround. So my recommendation for all of my clients is once you finish the call with the person, you go into their project and manually start the next correct workflow, whether it be a send proposal, a send not a good fit workflow, maybe you have a questionnaire, like another something that you have to have them do before you go to book with them. But whatever that next step is needs to be manual. And that also saves you because not only would the invoice be backdated from when they booked the call if you did like the send proposal back then, but if you're somebody who has different service types, maybe they inquired for one service type, but by the time you finished talking to them, it really became clear that they needed a different service type. You really want the flexibility to be able to send them the right booking form no matter how they came to you and what they thought they needed. A lot of times we don't know what we need. We usually know we need somebody's help, but we don't always know what that looks like. So your job on your call is to figure out, are we a good fit? And how can I serve you best? And how are we going to get this done? How are we going to get you booked? And then send them the right booking form from there. So Jennifer, I hope this answered your question. And for everybody else who is watching this video, if you have any questions inside of your Dubsado, be sure to ask them down below. I definitely use all of your comments to figure out what to create and post here. So please do not be shy in sharing what it is that you would like to see. And if you've gotten to this point in the video and you're like, Lauren, I want this, but you lost me 19 steps ago, I can help you inside of your Dubsado. So you can schedule a free clarity call with me down below, and I'd love to come in, see if I can be a help in your Dubsado, and you can hire me to do it because this is what I do. It's what I love to do. My link to book the free call is in the description down below. I'd love to chat if you think I can support you. Otherwise, do like this video if it helped you. Subscribe to my channel for more Dubsado tips and general business systems support. I'm Lauren with The Smarter Creative, and I will see you next week.